Hello everyone, Hamaste here, but most people just call me Ham. So earlier this week, I posted a video about a Mindbender's farm that you could do with just one friend, so a duos farm. This week, I present to you the Mindbender's casual trios farm. And this is basically the same run as we did with duos, but we just add another hunter. A big disclaimer up front though, the hunter is not going to do a lot of damage. So in the end, the main damage doer will have like between 300 and 400 kills. The second titan will have about 100 to 200 kills. And then the hunter will have a puny 40 kills. So make sure that you warn your hunter and tell them that they are not going to have a lot of kills. So if you're wondering what build we're running, I highly suggest you watch the previous video where I explain what I'm doing. But in a recap, it's top tier sentinel and we are running 1,000 voices. If you don't have 1,000 voices, you should be running a grenade launcher. Last time I said sticky grenades, of course I meant spike grenades. So yeah, I see those astute viewers looking and say, wait, this is not the same footage as you showed me 20 seconds earlier. That is correct. I try to record. I'm playing on a laptop. What can I say, guys? I cannot play Destiny and record at the same time, so I guess I'll have to get myself a capture card or so. So what you see here is Tovax. He's going to be the main damage doing Titan, and that was a good save. You can see our hunter was less fortunate. As I said in the previous video, I'm not going to show you the best run that we've had because that's like, what, 1 in a million? So we've done it in 8 minutes. And maybe at the end I can show you guys some footage of that. But this run is in about 9 minutes. We die, we make mistakes, and that's exactly how most of your farm runs are going to go. Or at least for me, because, you know, I'm not a pro player. Okay, so you'll notice something right away. We had some deaths, but I would like to encourage you to stay dead until your main person reaches the first room, and only res yourself the moment that you get to the room and it says new objective. So right now it says new objective. It's safe for you to respawn yourself. This is true in all fights except the last boss, but I'll explain that in a little bit. Let's go over the strategy here. I said earlier that you have a Titan that mainly does damage, then you have a Titan that does secondary damage, and then there's a hunter. So what does the hunter do if the hunter is not going to do damage? Well, that's really easy. The hunter is going to activate all plates, and unlike the duos farm, the hunter is going to activate the plate completely. So you can see right now, the Scorn Walker is going to come out immediately, and the main Titan is going to clean up everybody, and the secondary Titan is going to be responsible for the balconies, or however you want to call them. Anything that the main Titan misses, the secondary Titan is going to punch. The main benefit of having the hunter press the counterweight all the way down is that it takes a while for the Scorn Walker to arrive, and this way you can start the damage phase like about a minute earlier, I'd say. Regardless, you can see in the timer here how fast we're getting this Scorn Walker down. Same story, hit the leg with your 1,000 voices twice, and then shotgun the neck, and you should be out of here in about 2 minutes. And remember, in last video I said, you should wait so one of your team members should stay behind while your main damage doer is going to rush forward. And a main indicator of you being on track with your farm is this next part. If those enemies are still behind the barrier, you're making a great time. If they got past the barrier already, you're running a little bit slow, like we did here. Now we have 2 guys that can stand on plates. You can see me there on the left, obliterating the enemies on the left and the captain on the left, while the hunter is gonna go right away to the right plate. And the thing is that the hunter's jump can jump over the plate right away. So the hunter should be able to get the plate down before I get my plate down. Unfortunately, we're not doing that in this run, so let me fetch some footage of our hunter skillet. And this is some footage of a run that we did the same evening, but now it's from the point of view of our hunter skillet. You see him run, and he can jump straight over to the plate on the right, while the two titans obliterate everybody that is to punch, which is great. But let's get back to our original run, and now you can see the point of view of our titan again. After the plate is down, the vengeful hand should come out. So let's clear out the enemies as soon as possible. But there's a big difference between 2 players and 3 players. Namely, with 3 players, you can obliterate the vengeful hand so much quicker. And in this run, we go the duos method. This is before we knew that the trios method was much quicker. So we stand in the back while the vengeful hand is coming out. And you'll notice now how important it is to get the counterweights down as fast as possible, because here we're losing precious time in waiting for the vengeful hand to come out. Anyway, you can see that the vengeful hand is going down much quicker with 3 players, but let me show you guys how much faster he goes down if we just stand 10 meters away from him. Yes, I said meters. Deal with it. Anyway, look at this. Hunter is shooting Tether. He's already half down. And whabam, he is dead. Let's get back to our original run though. And as we obliterated him, it is time to go to the boss fight. But just look at the difference of somebody who mains the Titan and yours truly right here. He just jumped this like it's nobody's business. And meanwhile, you see Hamaste died, which is me. This is how you should run it. But of course, we're not done yet. The hunter dies as well. Alright, remember how I said earlier that this fight is a little bit different? So the boss fight is somehow bugged? Well, bugged when it comes to respawning and joining your allies. It's just the best to wait until the main person gets into the room and actually initiates the fight. If you res yourself before the boss fight is initiated, you will spawn all the way back at the vengeful hands. So this is it. He initiated the fight, and lo and behold, we just got rezzed in this room, so no time lost. Just like with duos, you gotta time your shots, so it takes 4,000 voices shots to get him to go invincible. I got this, which will lead to the next phase, which of course is the fun punch phase. Let's go! And this is similar to the earlier fights, where in this case the point of view what you see right now is the main damage doer. So make sure that you let this person do the most punches so that you can activate the linear actuators all the time. You can see it on the bottom left every time it's on. And a massive bonus is of course that we have a hunter that can put his tether down every now and then. I'd say not for damage sake in these phases, but we have this mod on where every time you pick up an orb, you get health. This fight is, I'd say, a little bit of hit or miss. Sometimes the enemies can overwhelm you and you die really fast. So most of the time, if you use your super up so you can actually pick up orbs, it is great because the Titan supers are not super handy here. And with that said, I'm never going to use the word super again. Anyway, I'd say you don't really have to use them unless you hit the last phase of this fight. Again, we got 2 shots here. The hunter is shooting a xenophage in this case. just to give some extra damage to make sure that before we hit the floor, that the boss gets invisible again. Haha, did you hear that? I said it right in one go. But yeah, that is key here. You gotta make sure that before your feet hit the ground, that the boss is invincible again, so you can go to the next phase. And let's go for another damage phase. They keep on coming. This is such a good example to see how well linear actuators work right here. As you saw, the numbers keep on adding up, and the score keeps on adding up. And I think it's just amazing. Alright, time to get to the last two phases and call it a day. This is another one of those moments where one of us dies because we got overwhelmed by enemies or the boss shots or whatever. I definitely wouldn't worry too much about it. In total, we are about to lose 1 minute of this fight, and we still managed to do it in about 9 minutes. Alright, time for the last phase. He's gonna pull us in one more time, but this last time he won't go invincible anymore, so just go all out on your shot. This is when we use all our 1000 voices and Xenophage at one, and he should go down in one go. And hopefully you get yourself a Mindbenders. Now I know Mindbenders week is already over, but the Mindbenders farm comes pretty often. I'm not sure if there's like a schedule out there, but I usually look every reset, which is Tuesday 1 p.m. EST, and see if there's a Mindbenders farm. If you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching. This channel came out of the desire to create a YouTube channel for the rest of us. And when I say the rest of us, I mean players like you and me. We are not like the top 1%, the people that hit all their snipe shots in PvP, that can go flawless in the first weekend and do those Mindbenders farms in 6 minutes, because we're just not that good. And you know what? That is fine. I got a family, I got 2 kids and a wife, and I just like to spend time with them. I do play Destiny a lot, maybe 2-ish hours almost every evening, but I do not spend like 8 hours a day on Destiny, which means that I can just not dedicate that much time. And just because I cannot dedicate that time doesn't mean that I don't want the best weapons possible. How many times do I hear somebody in my clan or some of my friends complain that they don't have enough time and that they cannot get that Mindbenders, or that they cannot get that spare rations, or that they cannot get that 4th horseman or whatever? Well, guess what? There's great ways to farm them. There's shortcuts that you can take. If you team up with the right team synergy, I guarantee you can get the gear that you want. Well, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.